Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Monday, the 10th of November. I'm actually eagerly awaiting. We'll see if Plumbers jumps in because I do remember everyone was Plumbers was talking about 7th of November onwards of crypto. But anyway, that's a bit off topic. Starting off with the economic calendar, which I don't really take heed of too much, but it's just good to know if there's any potentially volatile events coming this week. Not that I would include this in any of my analysis or trading, but potentially some of these, if the government shutdown's ending this week, initial jobless claims, CPI, I guess, core inflation rate on Thursday, November the 13th, but I'm not sure how. Oh, okay, and PPI retail sales. So Thursday and Friday potentially volatile days for some data coming out. That is all that you need to be currently aware of. Long short ratio heavily falling now. I feel like we've hit potentially a top on long to short ratio. When we get above 70% either way, it becomes, you're getting to near max saturation in the longs, especially when you're getting up to 75%. It looks like we are starting to have that switch, which is nice. We kind of peaked at about 74% on Friday and have been steadily falling over the weekend as we've been gaining levels. So this is good. We've had the switch. Hopefully this can continue. And we've also made some new highs, which is also great to see. So yeah, good stuff. You can also see that on the Binance long to short ratio. Now we are still heavily long, but it's actually come down really hard since, let's call it, the 9th, which was yesterday. Basically Sunday we were at 72.5% long, basically around then, and now we're at 63%. So a lot of shorts have come in yesterday, which is really nice to see as we've broken up to a new local high. So this is good. This is exactly what you want to see for a bottom and a change in direction. And we've also gained back the volume node sitting about 101.9, which is good. It looks really good. It looks good for a bounce. I would say that we shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves as at this moment in time. We've got some heavy resistance setting up at like 110, 111k. And then also we've got the big weekly sort of like big resistance sitting at about 115. So these are areas for resistance, but it's looking good. It's looking good in the short term, in the near term. It's looking good. Now, let's go over there. Here we go. So, whoops. So Bitcoin, yes. The weekly has closed a nice little candle above, 109. That was really nice. We can actually see this on the daily time frame that we haven't closed a candle below this 109k low. We actually had about five candles this week closing above the support. Which was also daily support if I turn on auto charting tools as well. Very nice. I would say the next area, again, the next area of resistance is probably sitting about 110, 111, just in this area here, with the big one coming in around 114, 115 in here. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'd say on the weekly time frame, we have locally broken down from this support down here. That is a local breakdown. Now we are finding support on 109, but if we do break that, we're going to go to 94. Apart from that, you do have potentially now an area of resistance here, basically just in this swing from the upper one sitting about 115 on the weekly and the lower one sitting about 108, 108.2 to 108.6-ish. These are potential weekly areas of resistance now. And they also, this weekly one lines up with the top one around 114, 115. The reason why I think 110, 111 is going to be some resistance around here is because it was the previous weekly open, and the volume delta, was it the volume delta, has a lot of shorting volume around 110, 111 as well. And if we slap on, if we put on the liquidation bands as well, you'll find that there's actually quite a lot of high leverage stuff coming in. Ooh, that's actually coming in quite a lot lower now. That was coming in around 110 or 111 when we were down here, but that's actually coming in a lot higher now at about 108. So I would say that, yeah, you got 3 areas of resistance here. First one being 108. This is weekly resistance, so it might just be a little bit of a tap and then a retrace. But yeah, the main one's going to be about 111 and then 115. So looking good. Looking good. What were you all thinking on the old bitty? I think we got a good chance to at least go for about 114, 115. But we'll have to see where this next weekly candle closes. If we can close a candle, you know, above 108.2-ish, 108.3, 108.4, whatever, around there, be looking good for a test of at least at 115, and then that will be the big one. But yeah, I think it looks quite good. Quite happy with it. Now it's going to start looking a bit rough if we get up to 110.5, 111, and sort of like do a swing fail there and come all the way back down. If we do that, we definitely want to hold like something like this quite bullishly if we don't bullishly backtest that now. So if we backtest that now, sort of like 1-3, this area, then go for the highs, that would be quite nice. If we go all the way up for the highs right now, we want to hold sort of like this area in here for more upside. But yeah, it looks good. And I would say that if you're not in a long, you're at potential resistance here, so I wouldn't long it here. Maybe if you get a bit of a pullback back down to this high into the 103s, might make for a good long. Also, we have a decent amount of high leverage building up now, just in between sort of like 102 and 100.5, this area. We have also made a new local high on the hourly, which is quite nice. So we've gained this block here, which is basically you could kind of just box this off now to something like that. And also there is a local stuber as well. So you've got a lot of things to aim for on a pullback. You've also got a lot of levels above us for potential resistance as well. Nice. Very nice. I think it's going to be some easy trading this week, guys. It's a lot of just clear. It's just very clear. I can see clearly now. Anyway, let's move on. Let us move on. Let me get the chat up as well. Very low time frame scalps, 105.6, 105.8, 107. Oh yeah, you're in the trenches. Giraffe TA was spot on. Oh yeah, see those Bollinger Bands getting really tight there over the weekend at about 100 to 101, about 101, sorry. You also got the hidden bull on the retail at the same time, and then the volatility suite just top maxed out. Nice. Nice. There is bull div on the daily. Oh, what are we talking about before I move to ETH? Is this Bitcoin? Yeah, bull div on the daily came in literally on support. So that was on Thursday. I think we talked about that last Friday, that I would be very, very, very surprised if we didn't get a bounce from this area. Like if we just went straight down from here, you know, that would be insane, and we would probably hit the stupid pocket and then go all the way for the highs if we did that. But I way prefer doing it like this, you know. And even if we come up to like 115, or even if we come up to actually 110 and get rejected, then fine. It is what it is. That's why I do think we should be a little bit cautious though. But yeah, looks good. We've got that daily ball. We've got some uptrending structure on the 4 hour. We've got some resistance below us, and now we've got some nice support. It's all looking good. We got some levels to aim for. Let's go to ETH. So ETH had a nice wick to the downside. Actually tested some of this structure from back in here, which is quite nice. Now, I would say that if we drop this level here, so about 3, let's call it 3.5 on the weekly. If we close that level below there, there's just not really anything in the way until, you know, there's a little bit on the daily in between here, but really got nothing in the way till 2 point, you know, just this whole area in here. So I would say that, yeah, this is what you're expecting to be resistance until you clear it back. If we can do a close above sort of like 3.9 on ETH, then you're looking for a higher low. As of right now, you're potentially looking for, you know, a lower high in between here and here. But yeah, I think this has got a good chance of, you know, at least going back above 4K on ETH. And yeah, I'm just absolutely not selling in my spot below 4K. I might think about it when we come up to, if we do come up to like 4.1 in this area, I might think about, you know, de-risking a little bit. But for the time being, I think it looks potentially quite decent for just a little pop-up, maybe to... Do you know what? This is a very interesting level. That's a very interesting sort of like SR flip on ETH. Around 4.15. I'd say that if we can gain that, we're probably going to go for 4.5 to 4.8. Until then, you know, the daily time frame, it just needs to gain at least, you know, at least 3.9 back. So at least something like that. But yeah, the weekly has definitely flipped a little bit, and we do have some resistance in between here and here now. But yeah, again, got some very clear levels for resistance up here, and now we have created some nice support around 3.4. So that's good to see. Again, finding resistance in this little swing over here. Got some new highs from here. This is actually untested though as of right now, so something about there and also there, in between 3.45 and 3.375, potential support to long if we do get a bit of a pullback. And again, you actually got some high leverage stuff around 3.45 as well, so that's also interesting. Some high leverage stuff also at the lows at around 3.3 as well. So a lot of levels to potentially long on the way down. And let me take all those off now. You also do have, again, of course, the classic local steeper as well, which actually I thought I'd line up, but no, it doesn't. So yeah, we are getting slightly into the overbought area of the 4 hour. We also are hitting the 4 hour combination band and some resistance up here at 3.64 on ETH. So potential little pullback just down into sort of like this area. Would be quite nice to fill some longs if it does happen today and tomorrow. That would be pretty much perfect actually. You know, I really do enjoy taking setups like this. It's these are quite confident ones for me, especially if you can kind of get like liquidations, Stuber. This 4 hour combination is going to come up a little bit. Yeah, that's good. It looketh quite good, eth. But yeah, that's enough for ETH. Yeah, that's enough for ETH. Let us continue. What's up? What's up, brother? How's it going, mate? Yo, nice. Are you on your honeymoon? No, yeah, your honeymoon. So let's get rid of some of this stuff on Solana. I might actually just get rid of all of it for the time being, because yeah. Let's get rid of everything. So Solana, decent weekly close, just above support. I would say that you've created some resistance up around 200 now on the weekly time frame. Well, it's actually the weekly swing in between 187 and 200. I'll keep that higher one on for now. As you can see, that would be sort of like just this swing, which is definitely resistance now. Got a little bit of minor resistance coming in at 187, which would actually be the weekly low swing. So let me just take that off. I mean, it doesn't quite line up, but it lines up well enough with that swing. Sorry, with this bit here. So I'd say this area is potentially resistance now on Solana. You've also got an underside retest of here, but I think you're potentially going to go a little bit higher. Until then, you know, you're just looking for this to bullishly retest this area and bounce up to 187 at least. I'd say 200 is resistance for now, until we can sort of like, you know, maybe do a close over 200 and then maybe do a higher low. I would say that this is kind of out of the question for the time being, as we are still in a downtrend. This is the level we want to gain back. I mean, this would be nice for the time being, but yeah, it's just for now, just treat all these trades like bounce trades, and in between here, this is all your resistance potentially short, actually. Because I would actually just put these on all your charts that you're trading bounce trades, and just say that if I just turn that off, take that off, that yeah, this is just your resistance. So yeah, we've had a nice close above there. That's nice. You've actually bullishly backtested that. That's nice. You're potentially gonna just blast all the way to, you know, somewhere up here now. But yeah, let's get again. Nothing really in the way. You've actually already done the gains on Solana. So I'd say that if you drop that, you're probably going to go for the lows already. And then let's have a look if there's any high leverage. Yeah, high leverage underneath the 618. Okay. 4 hour coming in all the way at the lows. So yeah, drop 164, you'll probably go for the lows at 155. Other than that, you're looking towards the upside on this now until we get to, oh, stop it, somewhere in here. But it's looking good. It's looking good. So that's the big three, I guess, and that's my thoughts generally. I think we're gonna have at least a bounce week this week. Yeah, does anyone have any altcoins that they're interested in looking at? XRP's up 8%, which is quite nice. We're actually making a new high. So watch this 4 hour close. If this closes above here, it's a new 4 hour high. You could potentially just even pull a fib if we do start reversing. And try to catch something a little bit towards this structure here. Would be also the daily weekly open. So what would actually be nice on this is if there was a bit of higher leverage stuff here. No, it's not. It's coming all the way underneath the lows. Okay. Oh yeah. There's definitely a lot of there's definitely a lot of things that are lining up quite nicely at this moment in time. So yeah, if anyone has any altcoins that they specifically want me to look at, feel free. One thing that was looking nice last week, I think we did talk about, was Popcat, I think it was Popcat in here, right? Yeah, Friday 11. It must have been right in here on this retest. Personally, I didn't take this trade. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. Did an 18% pump, was about a 3% stop. So, you know, if they're trading on 2x, 2 to 3x, it's not too bad. But yeah, also something that had a really good pump was, yeah, so some things were pumping over the weekend. I was getting a few notifications even though I didn't look at charts. Like FET, one thing that I feel like we looked at in this area, and I just said it's just absolutely dead, isn't it? I sometimes periodically check FET just because it was my largest altcoin holding. It's not anymore, but it was once upon a time. And I still hold a old bag of this, which was bought probably in this area, to be honest, 20 cent to 30 cent. So I think if I was looking for an exit on this, which I am actually, it would probably be something like 5 to 6, 7, 7, 5, and 8. 8.5. I would probably just exit like 50% around here, maybe a bit more up here, and then if we get up to the highs, I'll just dump it all. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the way the market is at the moment. We are chilling. Here's to like hopefully we get the like really crazy, you know, like just 2 month like blow off top all season. Like that would hit quite a lot of the top like mechanisms. But anyway, I'll stop my recording here. Oh, Link and AVAX. I'll do Link and AVAX on recording, and then stop my recording. We can just relax. You guys can say anything you want then. Possibly come up onto stage, talk about something a bit random. Let's just leave that on. We'll leave that on as well. So AVAX is an interesting one. If I just turn off everything, and we'll put all these lows on. So AVAX actually broke the low. You'll see that we have a sneaky close below the low. And now what does that tell us? That tells us that we are in a heavy downtrend. And now this could actually just be a deviation as of right now. So I wouldn't worry about it too much at this moment in time, but just know that this has broken some stuff. Okay? On a close. I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind. So that in the future you could possibly, after this, see all the way back down there on that wick, that weekly low. But anyway, for the time being, what we do have is we have some nice bullish divergence. The daily hasn't broken out yet. Sorry, why did I say like a retard? Start again. Daily hasn't broken out yet. We need to gain something above that. On the 4 hour, we have a nice high low and a high high here. So we do have trend change, and this was the retest. So that looks good. And we also have a new local high. Looking good. Probably going to go up and test here. Now, when you test here, you definitely want to see sort of like a bullish back test or like holding the low down here. There's two levels. You could either do... The brush is too much sometimes. Too much brush. You can either hold that or you can hold that. Once you come up and test that. I would love to see a close above that and then a retest of here or even here. And then a blast off up to here. That'd be perfect. Apart from that, you're kind of looking at this in terms of that's the big SR on the daily. Actually, let me just delete everything for now so it's a bit easier. Well, actually, we need to keep something like that on. So this low, also that high now, is what's going to be holding you down. And yeah, gaining that would be really, really good. So on the weekly time frame, yeah. I mean, we held the weekly low just about. We got some. Wow, did that just print? Did that actually print? Yeah, bullish divergence on the weekly. That's big. That is really really big. That's very very big. Let's actually check the retail stablecoin one as well on the daily. Yeah, it's arcing up as well. I think it looks good, man. Um, that bullish divergence on the weekly. Hold on. I'm not sure that much other coins have printed that already. Oh, okay. Injective printed it. Hold on. Yeah, so that's quite powerful. That's a very, very powerful indicator. Bullish divergence on the weekly. So yeah, I'd say that you're looking to the upside on this until you know, until you start like losing, I'd say this low now, where there is probably a bit of high leverage stuff below. Yeah, okay, easy. Um, lose this low, and you're probably gonna go lower. If not, you're gonna go higher. That looks good though. I actually like that. Do you know what would be nice on this is if you just did something like that and just tried to catch like a minor retrace with your stop, like obviously on the 115 if you're going to do that. And then if you sort of like drop this little upside here on Monday, then just target the 4 hour low down here. I think that looks pretty good. What was the other one? Link per Max Short's coming on Zek. When people found out one of the co-founders is a trans man is wild. Lol, no way. Bullish till we get to stupid fail zones. Yeah, I'm bullish. What's up, boys? I'm still in the Bahamas. Just finished competing. Let's go. 3 days vacant now with the fiance. Lovely, man. I'm wishing you all the best holiday, bro. We bullish or bearish? I haven't really looked at the market, but seems like some scam pumps or market toppy time pumps. I think market toppy time pumps is what's happening. I think we're going to see like good 100 to 200% pumps on some alts, and then it's going to bring everyone back into the market. You know, we might see 115k on Bitcoin, and then it's probably just going to roll over. I don't see this lasting particularly long or being like a substantial like switch in the market. I feel like it's very clear the direction is overall more towards the downside in the medium to long term. But in the short term, I'm actually extremely, extremely bullish. So, last but not least, we'll do Link, and we'll do it on the weekly actually. So, I'd say that Link is actually still looking quite bullish. As on the weekly, we actually still do have like a local lower high from here, and obviously we haven't broken the low yet. We've just like wicked into a stupid pocket, so this actually looks decent. I'd say that in a larger sort of sense, you're just finding support on the 786. Let me delete that now. Yeah, bullish divergence on the daily time frame. That's fine. Weekly. Do you know what? This is a really interesting thing to actually look at on the weekly. Is the strength has actually really just started to cross back up, as you can see. That little switch just there is quite big when the bullish divergence comes in. Now, of course, the downtrend on the daily is still very, very clear to see. Pretty much ever since this low here. So yeah, that's one thing that we do have to obviously point out. I'd say that you know, you got a bit of resistance up in here, but apart from that, you're definitely looking at some upside traction on Link, especially after we did this this flip here. Very, very nice. So yeah, with the same thing, I'd probably just say that you can do, if that gets a pullback when we're coming up to resistance, pull a fib and try and catch something. Or do we have a bit of high leverage stuff? Yeah, that's starting to come in around the 786. That's quite nice. I'll take that box off now because that's done. Yeah, so if we start to see a little bit of resistance here around that low of that daily swing and the 4 hour pocket, you're potentially going to go back for this high leverage stuff around 786, which could prove for a decent long. Other than that, I'm still bullish. And so yeah, I'm not going to be bearish until we get to sort of like 786 zones on some of these coins. So there's actually some leverage around that 786 there. AVAX will probably be something like this. Yeah. Some high leverage coming in around there as well. That would clear all this liquidity is about to get cleared, man. Yeah. So yeah, that's the game plan for this week. Let me stop my recording because that was